Amazon sellers often face a challenge of understanding and maximizing their customer lifetime value. It is critical value to make informed decisions about marketing, customer acquisition cost, retention strategies, and overall business growth. In this video, our guest Alex from SELLERBOARD will explain how you can calculate customer lifetime value, how to use it effectively by using SELLERBOARD tools and information you get there. If you want to try SELLERBOARD for yourself, find the link below in the description, which gives you 2 months of free usage of SELLERBOARD.
Hi, Alex. I'm really happy to welcome you back on Orange League YouTube channel to talk about Amazon customers' lifetime value, what it is and how sellers could actually increase it. But before we go into it, could you first introduce yourself and also introduce us how SELLERBOARD helps Amazon sellers?
Sure. Hello, Lisette. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much again for the invitation. I'm Alex. I'm doing marketing for SELLERBOARD, and which is a profit analytics tool for Amazon sellers. Our main goal is to help Amazon sellers make data-driven decisions. That's why we offer high accuracy analytics tools in order of dashboard and different kind of views, so you can slice the data under different angles. And besides that, we also offer a wide range of automation tools just for sellers to kind of handle everyday business a little bit easier and take some of that weight off their shoulders. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the lifetime value and how you can calculate that and why you actually need it. And also I'm going to touch on the topic of how SELLERBOARD does that in terms of automation and why we can benefit you as the seller with the LTV dashboard.
Okay, so let's do something that we love doing the most, educating sellers. So open up your slides and let's see what is this Amazon customer lifetime value and what should we know about it?
Great. So what is customer lifetime value? The first question. Actually, the customer lifetime value is the general or total value that a customer brings to your business throughout his purchasing journey or total time that he interacts with your business. So put in a simple way, it's the total amount of revenue that a single customer generates for your business. And this KPI is actually very relevant to businesses that work with replens, that work with the type of product that the customers come back to the business to buy again and again, or the products that are bought in multiple units per order. So why is that important? Because if you know the customer lifetime value in general or per product especially, then you can actually plan your customer acquisition costs. This is the main benefit that you get when you have your LTV calculated. So we're going to talk about that. And here are a few points why it is really important. So as I mentioned, first, you can actually plan your customer acquisition costs and how that works. So imagine that in order to make a sale, you need to buy actually through, if you can say so, buy a customer. Why buy? Because you are actually paying for the advertising campaigns, so it's an acquisition, and you're attracting the customer while spending some advertising budget. And if you do it once, then a customer comes to your store and comes to your listings and buys the product. But if in the future the customer wants to come back and buy the product again, he does not necessarily have to interact with your advertising again. So you will not have the same cost again. And the second visit to your store will be for free, because if he had a good customer experience, if he's satisfied with the product, And if you also made some additional moves from your side, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, and incentivized him to do a second purchase, then his second or third or maybe fourth even purchase will not cost you additionally anything. So knowing that, if you know that there are products in your listings that are generating more repeat business, then you can actually spend more to make that first initial acquisition. So you can be more competitive and more aggressive in your bidding, in your pay-per-click campaigns. You can bid more because you know if you will not make a profit with the first purchase, then you will make eventually a profit with the second purchase or the third purchase. But you need to really understand your customer lifetime value to do that. So this is one important point why it's crucial to know your customer lifetime value. The second one is actually that if you know your CLV, then you can optimize your pricing points. What does that mean? If you know your CLV per product, then you can really see the products where you can adjust your pricing in order to see if the customers will still make repeat purchases. And in this way, you can actually generate more profit, because if your profit margin will be higher, then you will be making more profit. But this approach needs to be tested out. So basically how it works, first of all, you analyze your CLV with the price point, then you try and you see if there's potential. For example, if you have high CLV for a product, then you try to adjust the price point, raise the price a little bit, and over time see how it affects the CLV, so how it goes down. And if you have profitability that is better for you in the second case, and the CLV doesn't go down too low, then it's a good strategy for you to optimize your price points and generate more profit. And of course, you can always find opportunities to do cross-selling and upselling. If you see your LTV or CLV, it's the same per product, then you can actually see if there are scenarios, if customers are willing to pay more for the same product, or are willing to, better said, are willing to pay for 2 units of the same product, because they are used to buying this product in several units once, or maybe they are returning for a second unit of the product. So if you know that, then you can create actually bundles and do upsell. And this is also a very good strategy to raise your customer lifetime value. We are going to talk about that also a little bit. Yeah, so it's important to know. But then a question, and one important thing also that I forgot to mention, that when you are actually calculating your profit per unit, which is a very important KPI, a very important metric, then this is the formula that you well probably should use. And as you can see right here, when you have your gross revenue per product, and then you take away the sales tax, the Amazon fees and fulfillment costs, and your cost of goods, and then you have your advertising spend left. So imagine, as I said before, if you're making the initial sale, you initially acquire this customer, then you have this advertising spend. So your profit for the initial sale will be low. But if you're taking away this factor at all, so if you have a returning customer, then your profitability for the second and the third sale will be much higher. So this is something to take into account, that this factor, the advertising spend, is something that crucially affects your profitability per product. So given that you know your customer lifetime value and you're working actively in order to increase it, then you should expect your profitability in time with the second and the third sale to grow substantially for the product. Okay, so let's go further. How do we calculate this customer lifetime value? The basic formula The basic scenario is pretty simple. So you need to take your expected average order value for a product and then multiply it by the expected purchase frequency per year, and then multiply it also by the number of years of how long you expect your customer to be with you. But the only problem with this approach is the fact that you need accurate data to really understand what is the final value that you will get. And this is the problem, that these metrics, they change very fast. So in order to do the math, you need to repeatedly do these calculations. So this is not very convenient, but if you want to do it, there's a method, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can do it. First of all, you need to access your reports. You can do that in your Amazon Seller Central account. So you need the Amazon Fulfilled Shipments report. You can pull that, the CSV, and you need to transfer it into a spreadsheet. And after you do that, you need to have several data points calculated in order to get the final KPIs that you are aiming at to know your customer lifetime value. So you need to create a summary sheet in this spreadsheet. So in order to do that, you just have these basic formula hints. You can use them. Just take a screenshot of this page, and you will basically need the total order value calculated, the number of orders calculated, the number of customers, and the time span of data that you are analyzing. So using these formulas, you can get all the data, and you will need these parameters to calculate the final KPIs, which are listed over here. So knowing the parameters from the previous slide, you can compute the average order frequency, the average order value, and the actual formulas are right here, the annual customer value, and the finally most important, the customer lifetime value, which boils down to the annual customer value multiplied by the expected customer lifetime. So the expected customer lifetime is something that you need to estimate based on the data that you have in the report. Knowing this, you can come up with the final result with the customer lifetime value calculated, but there are certain limitations, because this will be the general data calculated for all of the orders pulled in this CSV. So you will not be able to break it down by product. You will only have this data calculated on average for all of the points listed in your spreadsheet. So you can use this approach to do the calculations and see the average numbers for the CLV. If you only have several products, so you have one product, this approach might work for you. But if you have lots of products and you really need to understand the customer lifetime value by product, then I strongly suggest that you would use a profit analytics software like SELLERBOARD, for example, or another software that will help you do this in an automated way. So yeah, this is something that we do, and this is the easiest scenario because we do all the calculations for you. Let me switch really quick to the SELLERBOARD lifetime value dashboard, and I'm going to show you exactly how we do it. So basically, this is the main LTV dashboard. Right here in the top, we have 4 tiles that show us the accumulated sales per buyer in value, in dollars, for different time periods. So the first tile is for the 3 months, the 6 months, 12 months, and 24 months. So this is actually a retrospective picture of how well you are performing or are currently performing with the lifetime value. You can see the numbers in terms of sales per buyer. This is an average calculated for all of the products. Accumulated sales per buyer in units, so how many units each buyer of the same product each buyer bought in this particular period. And then you also have the number of orders per buyer. So how many orders did a singular buyer make? Because you can have several units in one order, so this is why these two parameters are different. Yeah. So, and down here you have the information regarding each separate product, and you can see the picture for the same periods that are listed up here in the tiles. Before I get to the products and the tags right here, I want to point out the fact that you can actually use the search bar to filter out the results by several products if you want to do a comparison, or you can select the periods maybe for a custom range. If you're not satisfied with the proposed periods right here, you can select a marketplace that you want to analyze. So this is pretty basic filtering parameters. And let's return to the list right here. So as you can see, this first product has the price of $19.99, and for the last 3 months, the accumulated sales per buyer for this product are also at the price point. And for the 6 months, they're also at the price point. That means that during the last 6 months, each customer that bought the product only bought it once per month. And if we go all the way back to 12 months, if we analyze the data for the previous year, then we can see that this number was even lower. That means that there were periods then when one of these products was not even bought once per month. So as we can see that this number actually grew up. If we will sort this parameter, the last 3 months, in an ascending fashion, let's do it, yep, right here. And we can analyze the second product. This is a different example. You can see here that the price of this particular product is $9.99, and for the last 3 months, the accumulated sales per buyer are at the point of $19. That means that this product was actually bought by a single customer 2 times, even more than 2 times on average. You can switch whether you want to analyze that in value or in units, and also you have the option to analyze the products by the number of orders that were made in which these particular products were included. So this is also an option. This is the way that you can see the data presented. But one important thing that I want to point out before I switch back to the presentation is the fact that the relevancy of the data right here is actually more precise if you zoom out to a larger period of time. And you should also understand that these periods, for example, the 3 months period, are included in the 6 months period, and the 6 months period are included in the 12 months period. So if you analyze a larger time span, then the accuracy of your data will be higher. Okay, so let me switch back to the presentation. I want to point out several methods how you can actually act upon increasing your lifetime value. So some of them are presented right here. The first thing you need to do is find a way to effectively measure your customer lifetime value per product, because as I've shown in the previous example, if you can really see your LTV or CLV broken down by product or by order, then you can understand which products can potentially generate repeat sales for you and where you can plan more budget for your marketing acquisition, for your customer acquisition. Why is that important? Because, for example, take into account that when you are making the customer acquisition, then you are talking about not only doing PPC activity on Amazon, but also you have external channels like Google Ads, or maybe you are designing landing pages, and you also costs that are associated with that activity, and you should also take that into account. So if you want to invest in promoting a certain product, for example, and do external marketing rather than PPC on Amazon, then you should also analyze that product-specific CLV. If you know your product-specific customer lifetime value, that means that you can really see what is your break-even AUGUSTAS, so your break-even advertising cost of sales, at which you will remain profitable when investing more in promoting a product. So these two parameters can really help you understand how much you can invest in promoting a product and doing marketing and planning your marketing campaigns, if that makes sense. I hope it does. Okay, so the next thing that you can do to increase your CLV is prioritize your CLV products with your PPC activity. Because if these products that have a high CLV are really generating more revenue for you because they have repeat business, then you should probably be prepared or know the fact that you can increase your bids with the PPC ads for specific products. So you can actually increase your overall CLV and drive more traffic in this way. The third thing is the fact that you can create an outside presence out of Amazon, be it, for example, social media presence, or you can create a specific website to drive traffic and to create that bond with the brand, if it's the case, if you are selling a brand, because people tend, to have this connection with a brand that they can actually create an emotional bond. And selling just a product on Amazon sometimes is not enough. You have to be where the customer is. So if that's social media, and you can get the customers to follow you on social media, or you can create a website that will have additional reasons to visit your Amazon listings on it and have direct links. It is also a very good way to create repeat business with these customers. Additionally, you can explore the Amazon posts, because it's a very good way to create that brand awareness, to create that product presence and exposure. And this product-related content is a very good way to engage the customer. And people that are engaged also tend to create that bond with the brand and make repeat purchases. So that's something probably that you should test out and see if it works for you. Another way is by creating bundles. But when creating bundles, you should be really, really cautious probably with the guidelines that Amazon presents for the bundling. But aside from that, if you're okay with that and you can go with the TOS of Amazon, the bundles are a really cool way to just increase your LTV, because one order means more units of the same type. And that is really something that, again, spreads that advertising budget through across multiple units sold, and overall unit profitability grows, because your AUGUSTAS tends to go lower for a single unit of the product. So moving on, maybe you should try and deploy the subscribe and save program. While, well, probably you know that this is a program from Amazon. It's a subscription, and you actually have a cost associated with it. So it costs to subscribe to the program. But if you do, then you can actually get some customers, get a subscription-based relationship with your business. And this is something that keeps the customers coming back. And it's a really nice way to raise the CLV. Again, probably you should analyze whether it's the bottom line is okay with you, but is this in terms of what results we have with our clients and the feedback that we get, this is also a really nice way to get those long-term relationships with the customers that you have. And I think this is last but not least, the thing that I want to share with you, that do not underestimate the effect or power of the additional value or information that you can share with your customers if you are using inserts, because you can always, with the product that you send out, you can always give more information about your brand, give more information about your product line, or maybe even send out coupons, physical coupons about the other products that they can buy from you. So this is a cross-selling or maybe additional value for the second purchase that will be present on the insert. So any kind of promo or any kind of info that might incentivize the customer to make a repeat purchase from you. Sorry about that. Also, pay attention to the TOS of Amazon, because your inserts should not lead to external links. This is very important. Check the TOS, what it says. But the inserts are also a very good way to display all of the product range, and maybe just tell the customer that, hey, you have an additional reason to come back and buy again from our business. Yep. So I really hope that some of these tips will help you sell more to a single customer, increase your LTV, or maybe keep the customers returning to you and your business. This is about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow, I think that's one of the best presentations I have heard about customer lifetime value. I think you explained it really well, like what it is, where Amazon sellers could get information about it straight from Seller Central, but also how they could actually manage the data more efficiently by using a tool. Because as you said, doing it through the spreadsheets, you're not able to get like product level data. So if you want to make sure that you get all the correct numbers and you can make all the right conclusions to act upon to use different tools or marketing strategies, then seems super helpful for the sellers. So have you, is this tool been a part of the software for a long time for now, or is it something that you have recently added to the set of tools you offer to sellers?
We have released the customer's lifetime value dashboard. I think it's been a year and a half right now. And we are always analyzing, from the general amount of users, daily users, how many are using a certain tool, and we've seen the interest towards the LTV dashboard increase. But still, this is one of the tools that for a lot of the users is something that they still need to, kind of try it out. So we systematically try to educate them on how to use it and how it can bring value. But actually, it's also important to mention that the LTV is not relevant for all of the business models. So it only mostly applies for the private labels, or for business that do the replens, the products that are bought more than once. So this is also, it kind of narrows the target range of the tool, but it works.
Probably the increased interest into the subscribe and save has started, put the idea to Amazon sellers' head, what is it about? Why some buyers are buying my product all over again, and I maybe even don't know about it. So it could be, it's related to that as well, because I know that more and more experts and sellers talk about the subscribe and save feature, which you also presented in your slide deck. Before we go for today, could you give us an overview? What are the other tools that your software is offering, and also what's the best way to learn more about the packages?
Sure, of course. So I'm going to do this briefly, probably not even switch to the presentation, because it's going to turn into a very long demo. I can do this all day, but generally speaking, besides doing profit analytics, which we do best, We help sellers understand how their PPC campaigns work. So we have very good PPC analytics, a dashboard that will help you understand where your campaigns stand and on a campaign level, on ad group level, on a keyword level, show you your AUGUS, your break-even AUGUS, your profitability for each keyword, so you can see which are better performing or which should be probably paused or stopped. We also have some automation options for the PPC activity, bid automation, keyword automation, to help you, do some daily stuff, not spend all day raising and lowering bids. Besides that, we help sellers generate reviews, product reviews, and seller feedback also. We do it through automated email campaigns that are Amazon TOS compliant. So we use their own mechanism of sending out these emails. Besides that, we have a very powerful inventory module that we are actively working with right now, improving it, pushing it, and we have very big plans with the inventory module. What it does, it basically helps the sellers understand where their stock currently is. Second, it helps sellers plan their inventories, stay in stock, because the only thing they need to enter is their lead times, production times, shipping times, and then they will always have notifications of when you should reorder a particular product, not to run out of stock. And also we will help them understand the reorder quantities that are optimal for them at a particular time period. And so the inventory module actually has also functionality to create purchase order, track the orders, get some automation on your order status, and update the cost of goods automatically, so you don't have to do it by hand. And we have a very powerful alerts module, so there are always events in your Amazon business that need to be kept under control, to stay in just to know and when you should act to change some things in a timely fashion. So we also just announced the sellers through emails that you probably should check something out. And the money back feature, which helps Amazon sellers detect FBA errors, see whether they can get reimbursed for missing stock, something that was damaged, or maybe some fees, FBA fees that changed. And if, for example, it's something on the Amazon site that needs to be remeasured or maybe recalculated, we can also help the sellers manage these cases. So overall, this is it. I think that the best way to understand how SellerBoard can bring value to a seller, to an Amazon business, is to try it out, because it's free to try. So why not do it?
That's a good point. Thank you for that. And those who are interested, we have more videos like this, educational and like a sneak peek opportunity to see into your tools on our Orange Klik YouTube channel. So you can search for the other videos as well. And we will link the website link also to the description of the video. So thanks again, Alex, for joining me and for sharing your knowledge and introducing us your tool. And we hope to see you soon again.
Thank you for the invitation, Lisette. Follow the Orange Klik channel and learn more, sell more.
I hope you got some value from this video. Don't forget to click like below. And if you want to try SellerBoard for yourself, you will find the link below in the description. You will get 2 months for free to use. And if you have additional questions about the content you heard, don't forget to use comment section below. And now I would like to invite you to watch other video with Alex from SellerBoard, where he shares 5 tips on how to get Amazon product reviews without violating Amazon terms and conditions.